Alright, we've seen an all-new episode of Parker's Trail Friday night. The official air date was March 20th, 2020. And we watch Parker as he continues his journey through harsh terrains of Australia, being guided by a fourth-generation gold miner, Tyler Mahoney. And he is also accompanied by his two friends, Fred and cameraman Danny, as they all try to find ground for Parker to mine so he can keep mining when the Yukon winters doesn't allow him to. But Parker is in good hands. Tyler is the pro here. This is her backyard. This is her area of expertise. Parker is really counting on her deeply rooted Australian connections to provide ground that he can mine. It has to have gold on it in which he can make a profit, obviously. And he wants ground that he can mine legally. All this combined creates a tall order for Tyler, but she proves to be up to the challenge. And first they head to Palmer Fields, where they meet a crazy Bulgarian bloke who claims to be the property's caretaker.
I'm the caretaker.
Which has obviously been in the woods for far too long.
Where are you from? Bulgarian.
And he seems to make his own moonshine as well.
I ran away.
But he claims the owner of the property is in Vegas, and he proves not to be much help as he doesn't even know where the mining boundaries are.
Never been measured.
It's like nobody told him that someone may be dropping by inquiring about the land. Nothing. The guy knows absolutely nothing. Which makes me question if he was even the caretaker.
Where's John?
Then Tyler finds out that legally they can't even use machinery, that little trommel or anything on this property, which means coming here has been a total waste of time. So Parker and Tyler head off to go look at some more ground while they leave Fred and Danny with the caretaker. But he ends up pulling out a metal detector as they look for nails buried in the dirt. Well, actually, they're looking for gold, but as Parker said, metal detecting is just not for him. He does not have the patience. When this thing goes beep, 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 he gets excited, feels almost like Christmas, goes to reach down. He said every time it's a nail. But after finding a copper wire, they actually found a piece of gold. Then on to one of my favorite parts of the show as we meet the Fitzgerald, or what I like to call the Australian version of the Beets family. They said that this family owns the most claims where they are, like the Beets family. It's strictly family ran, like the Beets family, and has been mining here for almost 30 years, like the Beets family. Like I said, the Australian version of the Beets family. And just like Tony, they're not willing to lease to just anybody. They said Parker has to prove himself first. So they do a test run, and Parker said he usually gets about an ounce per every 100 yards. Well, they just did a test run of 500 yards, so they need this to produce at least 5 ounces to be profitable. They do a weigh-in, and a total is 7.2 ounces. And with them not having to deal with the cost of removing permafrost or the headache of it, it looks very attractive to Parker. So he asked the Fitzgeralds if he could stick around and mine a piece of their land as a little test to see if they can work something out. They agree, and they point him to a piece of the property that's already been mined. Now, who in the world would want property that's already been mined out, right? Well, besides Dave Turn. But this property seems to be a little bit special as every season it floods. And with the floods, it brings gold from the top of the hills. And they are able to mine this ground every season, which sounds absolutely like a dream come true, right? So Parker and Danny's plan is to do a 2-yard test run on this ground. Then we got Tyler over at a trommel plant called 8 Mile as they go through tailings of the failed leases of the failed miners that they've leased to before. They said basically that the other miners were so concerned about the large gold that they left all the little stuff, which is exactly why they don't want to lease to just anybody. They want somebody that's going to get every bit of the gold out of the ground, which I think Parker is very much capable of, since Tony taught him how to do just that. So they do the results from the ground that's already been mined, and they said back home those results would bring normally around $35 worth of gold. But these results show a number of $75. Then Fred and Tyler, they ran through 185 yards of already gone through garbage tailings. Now back home they normally wouldn't even run through the tailings because it costs too much and it normally doesn't produce